All right. Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy Lincoln Clay coming back at you with another. Hold on. Do something with this. Spartan guy, you said that's why they did it. Fortnite about to die. Craig, the tech guy, is this Mass Effect? Afraid not. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll mess around and try to stream Mass Effect if I ever get the game again. So how's everybody doing this Friday? I am doing great. I am so glad to be out of work. I had to make this the first order of business as soon as I got home because in an hour I have to take off to go pick up my son. You said Fortnite gonna die? The fact of the matter is the only reason it lasted, to me, the only reason why the shit gained popularity is because it was a free game. Fortnite would have been dead within 1 week if they would have followed through to charge $60 for that game. That game would have been, it would have died in 1 week. Joystick Guru, what is up? So as I was saying, I got to pick up my son here in about an hour. I normally get him on Saturdays, but I was pleasantly surprised that he contacted me and asked me if he could come over today. But I know he wants to get over here and play Five Nights at Freddy's in VR. From what I'm gathering, a lot of kids were looking forward to this game. You know, my son's looking forward to it. J-Dub told me his son was looking forward to it. You know, I'm doing pretty good, Joystick. Thanks. So that's the deal there. I got to go pick him up in about an hour. I'm going to keep him the whole weekend. So unfortunately, that means I may not do the Friday night jam tonight. Because I don't want to snatch the Oculus away from him to do it. So it'll come down to one of two things. Either I'll record it and then upload it as a video, or I'll just, push it back until next week. So, I want to do it when I'm here by myself and, not in a situation where I'm looking over my shoulders and see puppy dog eyes, with him wanting to jump back on Oculus because Pavlov, along with his anticipation for Five Nights at Freddy's, I believe my son's probably going to use up the Oculus all weekend. In fact, I might not even get a chance to play Blood and Truth until late tonight. Wraith the Emperor, what is up? So I'll find a way to work it all out. So I'm looking forward to a very good weekend. But there was a ton of news this past week, whether it was VR and non-VR. I mean, there's so much VR news. I'm not going to talk about that today because of how much time I have this limited, and then by the time I get back, BitCloud and his crew will be doing the, his podcast. Check that out. And then I think I overheard Craig say that Porter Rock is going to, possibly do the 60 frames, no lag tonight. I may possibly hit him up and ask him if I could come on there for about an hour. So it's a possibility I might be on there. We'll see. I'll hit him up, see if he's got room for one more. We'll see how that goes. And then as usual, we got the round table at 9:00. What's up, Guy Code? So, and before I go ahead and get into this news real quick, I'll just say that I'm having the time of my life on Blood and Truth. Again, shout out to Sony for giving us this kind of game. For putting that kind of money behind a VR game. BitCloud is formerly Ryan the Professional. He does his podcast. I believe it's called Real Gamers Talk podcast Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. His panel usually consists of himself, Carlos Fernandez, Foxy Games UK. I think Craig Harris may possibly be on there today. Titanfall Princess. And then like me, I kind of got an open door. Whenever I want to go on there, all I gotta do is hit him up and ask him for a link, and he'll gladly send it. So, but I got a lot on my plate today. But I will join his podcast again soon. I will hit him up and ask him if I can come on. So let's get into the news. As I was saying, there's a ton of news, VR and non-VR. You said COD about to become the daycare for gaming. You man, we about to see some shit that's never been seen before on the gaming landscape. But I want to get to the other news first because I feel like the other news is a little bit smaller, and that's about the media misleading consumers. I think earlier this week or late last week, an article came out about Sony not updating the PlayStation VR, and I guess it was the same title but had a couple of different headliners. One of them said, Sony's not planning to Sony not planning next gen PSVR, that kind of stuff. And I wanted to be certain, so when I read those articles, they basically said what I had already suspected, that the next generation PlayStation VR is probably not going to release day and date for the reasons that I suspected, because you'd be dropping a lot of shit on consumers at once. Everybody's speculating that the PS5 is going to cost $500. As far as the PlayStation VR next generation headset, I'm guessing that that's going to cost anywhere between $300 and $400. I don't think Sony's going to do the $500 thing again, because it'll get off to a slow start in my eyes. But if they price it at $300, I think at the very least, I think they can expect half of the PlayStation VR user base to pick up one of those. But to drop them both at the same time, we could be looking at anywhere from $800 to $1,000, depending on how Sony prices these things. And so that's basically, the article said what I had already knew. But the way they titled their articles, they made it sound like Sony is just dropping VR, and whatever you got is what's going to have to get you through. I thought that was some bullshit. I thought that was some misleading bullshit. I felt like it might be some clickbait shit. I felt like, I didn't know if this was an attempt by the media to try to sabotage Sony before the next generation even starts, because this American media just don't pass up the chance to try to, fuck with Sony. You said they got to get them clicks somehow. Yeah, but I think as journalists, people talk about how us YouTube creators have a responsibility not to spread misinformation. I think journalists have 10 times that responsibility, because a lot of people take what journalists say as law. So for them to mislead consumers and readers and that kind of shit, for somebody who didn't bother to read the articles, what it was is they said what I already knew. They said that Sony's not releasing a headset day and date with the PS5. They don't have any plans to do it day and date. They don't want to, I guess they quoted somebody within Sony saying that they don't want to bombard everybody, with a bunch of shit at once, which I knew all that right from the start. But what I felt was irresponsible of these journalists was the headliners that they put on their articles saying that, no PSVR update, or Sony not planning next gen PSVR. So when somebody sees a headline like that, they instantly think that, okay, there's, no PSVR coming next generation. So, that's it. I just play what I got, and whenever I'm done with that, that's that. I think that's fucked up, because there's a lot of people, I don't know what the exact numbers are. I know last time, some numbers came out, Sony was sitting on like 4.2 VR headsets sold, which I thought was more than that. But I really believe they got to be at 4.5. I believe they got to be at 4.5 million. With this Days of Play sale coming up, and I guess they're going to be knocking $50 off the bundles. I think the reason why they're knocking $50 off the bundles rather than $100 like they normally do is because of what these bundles are. One of the bundles I believe is a Blood and Truth bundle that comes with Blood and Truth. I can't remember exactly what the bundles are. I don't feel like digging it up, but I just know that there's going to be a couple of VR bundles. Each of them are going to be $50 off. I think the reason why Sony's not going to knock it down $100 is because of the Blood and Truth. The game is, at least with the VR community, Blood and Truth is a hit. Got a fool rambling. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Red Ranger, you like to come in here and fuck with Sony. When you got green toilet paper wider than your butt crack, I guess that's what you're gonna do. But yeah, I thought that was really irresponsible of these journalists, of the media, to mislead people with those kind of titles into thinking that Sony's going to discontinue support. Ice Queen Gaming, how are you? I think for them to mislead people into believing that Sony's going to discontinue support of the PlayStation VR, I think that's irresponsible, and I think it's really fucked up. Because again, as I was going to say, I know that a lot of people who own a current PSVR headset are excited about the next generation headset. Me being one of them, I absolutely can't wait. I think other than I think there's going to be some cutting edge technology in this next VR headset. And I think, there's going to be some stuff that's not cutting edge. There's going to be some stuff that's going to fall right in line with what's going on at the time. There's Misi. What's up? He said, you got a water infection. I've never heard of anything like that. Whatever it is, I hope you recover quickly. So that's pretty much that on that. I'm not gonna, spend more time than necessary on that. I just think it was fucked up that the media did something like that. But being that this misinformation involved Sony, I can't help but to believe that it was intentional. But that's the media for you, especially if it's an American media. It is what it is. So that closes the book on that. You hearing it from me. I don't have any inside sources. I think Sony came too far to discontinue support of the VR format. I do believe we will get another VR headset. I go along with some of the rumors that was going around about that it could happen a year, maybe two, after the launch of the PS5. But I do believe that we're going to get one. Again, when your water gets hot, that's what is a water infection. Okay. Support Gaming, did you see the patent for the Sony VR gloves? Yes, I did. And that further drives my point home that I believe we're going to get another VR headset. Sony has filed so many patents, so many VR patents, I can't even remember all of them. Patents for inside out tracking, patents for the headset detecting when you're motion sick, patents that I guess let you switch the lenses so you can see the outside world without having to take the headset off. Patents that allow two VR headsets to be connected to one console. Patents for a wireless headset. Patents for new generation move controllers that are pressure sensitive. That where you can squeeze these controllers within game. All that kind of shit. They filed so many patents, and then the patent that you just mentioned about the VR glove, which some people have been wanting. So with that being said, Sony's not about to ban that shit. They came too far. They are the market leader right now. I will admit, I don't think they're going to have that title for long, because I do think eventually the Oculus Quest will become the VR, will be the VR leader, because with the headset not being tethered to a PC, they stand the best chance of cracking it to the mainstream. But I still think Sony is still going to be right there with them. Joystick reality check. Here's the biggest check you'll ever forget. If you went ahead and bought an Xbox knowing that they were attempting to spy on people with an always online connected camera, you're an idiot. Bravo, Joystick, bravo. I like that one. You know what? This wasn't part of the thing that I wanted to talk about, but I guess I'll throw this in there real quick about the news about like games like Gears 5 and shit like that coming to Steam day and date. So Sony not Sony, but Microsoft is going full blown third party, where their games be able to go over to Steam. So they're all, I guess Game Pass is also going over to Steam. Now, a couple of interesting questions have been raised about that. One is that if you pay for Game Pass, will it cover both the Xbox and PC, or will you have to pay for two separate subscriptions for the two separate platforms? Will you need one for PC and another subscription for the Xbox, or is this going to be, one of the things where you can go anywhere with it, and only pay one subscription? Lunkin, Fatal Charade, what's up? So that's an interesting question right there. Another interesting question that I have is that once Microsoft puts enough games on Steam and they build up a sizable library, will they try the Xbox Live thing again on the PC format? I don't think it'll work, because rumor has it the PC people are cheap and they absolutely will not stand for it. So so I don't think it would work. I would like to think that Microsoft wouldn't try it, but we will have to see. Yeah, Guy Cole, Microsoft has officially went third party. So that's pretty much that on that. I guess they, pulled. I guess they're not letting their games go to the Epic Store. So I guess that maybe leads you to believe that Microsoft probably, I don't know if they do or don't have a good relationship with Epic. We all pretty much believe that when Cliff Bleszinski left, that he had some animosity towards Microsoft. But when he left, I don't know if Epic had any, was tied up in any of that shit. Because we know Epic, I think they did the first 3 Gears of Wars. Let me see. You said PC having free Xbox Live is on purpose to wean the console fans fan base to PC. That's why Xbox slaves still pay. Hey, I can't argue with that. I mean, it's obvious that Microsoft. Yes, that is obvious. What's up, Jamal Adams? It is obvious that we know Microsoft is trying to move everybody over to PC. But I'm still like wondering what is the big picture here. I mean, is there more money in PC, or is this a situation where the Titanic is sinking, which is the Xbox, and they trying to get everybody off the ship and move them on over to the Carpathia, which is the PC? What's up, Blue? Before letting the ship go ahead and sink. I don't know what's going on. We'll see. So that's that. Let's get on to the big news. And that is the Call of Duty. Microsoft is just desperate. There's no question about that. Oh, I guess I will say one more thing. If Microsoft continues to execute the Windows Play Anywhere and Share Play, I will buy Gears 5 once, and I will have 3 copies of it. I have no interest in the game, but my son loves Gears of War, and that is because of me. Because I think the first 2 Gears of War, I was a Gears of War freak, and anyway. I'm watching you. You know who you are. I'm watching you. Anyway, I'll have 3 copies of Gears of War. Once I buy it for my son, it will automatically download to my Xbox, and we will have it on PC. So I pay for it once and get 3 copies of it. Although I have no intentions of playing it. Maybe the multiplayer with my son, but the campaign, I don't have any intentions of playing it. Yeah, you got your eyes on me, but I'm the one with the block button. So I have no need for Game Pass. You know why? I barely play flat screen games anymore, let alone any Microsoft games. So why should I pay them for a subscription that I'm not going to use? I have no need for Game Pass. I have no desire for Game Pass. For my son, nah. I don't like the thought of if something crazy happens where if I lose my job or something like that and I'm unable to pay for Game Pass, then he's done. All those games are going to be locked out the minute I can't pay anymore. If I buy a physical copy or even a digital copy and something happens, he still has those games to play. I just don't like the thought of subscriptions. I just don't. So Lucky, you say, yeah, man, once I got into VR games, hard to go back to regular games. Exactly. And it's only going to get better. You know, I think I'm not so sure about Iron Man, how many people might convert over to VR when Iron Man VR comes out, because there's still some people salty that it's not coming to the flat screen game. Anyway, oh, you really want to press your luck today, huh? But yeah, does me see everything you said is exactly why streaming will fail. Agreed. VR can make any game fun. You know, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's me see as far as the streaming goes, you got to keep a job or you got to, you don't pay. That's that. And like Sick was saying for the longest, um, of course you can give an opinion, but there's one thing. It's one thing giving an opinion and trolling. You say VR is not for you, fine. Saying VR suck, you trolling. I'm not trying to make you like it, but I'm just pointing out the differences between trolling and giving an opinion. You know, and even though I haven't blocked you yet, I know you like to come in here and push the boundaries when you do come in here. So I still haven't gotten to this. What time is it? It's 3:30. I still got to get to this Call of Duty thing. Um, but yeah, that streaming shit, you're at the mercy of your internet. Fuck that. I just no, 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 no. This shit will never fly with me. Mm, mm, mm. All right. All right. I hated to do that, but he was just really pushing it. I mean, every time he comes in here, he tries to see how far he can push it. So I just don't got time for this. I'm trying to have a podcast, and dude want to come in here being a troll. Um, I mean, he used to be worse than that, but a couple of times where I threatened to block him, he toned it down a little bit. But I knew that was going to happen. I knew he was going to tone it down and then slowly pick it back up and then just try to see just how far he can push it. It's childish. I ain't got time for it. You know, you got a kid in the house making a bunch of noise and you tell them to be quiet and they be quiet for a second and then they slowly start inching their way back up with the noise, trying to see how far they can push it before you tell them to be quiet again. And that's what this shit was building up to. Bye-bye, you know. You know, people like Thrash, he invites the trolls because he love, you know, Thrash love boxing with trolls. It depends on what kind of troll you are. Like that one dude that troll that was coming in here a while back, that Phil Spencer troll. Now he had me cracking up. He had me laughing. But anyway, enough of that. Let's move on. So, Call of Duty, as all of you know, the next iteration of Call of Duty will be called Modern Warfare. Wow. So I'm like, when I first heard that, the first thing I was like, okay, remastered. I'm like, okay, Activision is getting desperate to try to get money from anywhere where they blowing the dust off of old games and remastering them. You know, I'm like, they breaking a back to put anything out there and load it up with microtransactions. Now, I will admit that Call of Duty, I stopped. I took a minute. I watched the trailer. I will admit it does look good. It does. And it actually has me interested because I think out of Modern Warfare 1 and 2, I think Captain Price was one of my favorite characters in there. You know, Captain Price was no joke. And then on Modern Warfare 2, you know, my all-time favorite scene was when they shot up that airport. I mean, shit was ruthless. So I'm interested a little bit, especially knowing that they finally, you know, got a new engine for this game and it's not going to be the same shit that they've been running since 1961. And that's been the biggest turnoff for me with all these Call of Duty games is they've been running the same fucking engine for God knows how long. So I guess they finally going to run a new engine. I guess they brought in some ex-Naughty Dog developers to help with it. So no wonder the game looks amazing because then the forest and the lush environment, all that shit look good. You know, I'm going to try it. Hopefully they're not lying about it being a new game. See, I can't, you know, truth be told, I can't give you a yes or no or whether I'm going to buy it. In all likelihood, I'm going to wind up with it because my son will probably want it. And again, because of the game share, I'll end up having it on my Xbox too. But with me having an Xbox One S, I'm not going to be able to see this game in its full beauty because the Xbox One S do not be fooled by the HDR and the upscale, the 4K and all this shit. Some of those games actually look terrible on the Xbox One S. So it might be the first COD I bought since Black Ops 1. Yeah, once they got to that space age shit, I was pretty much done. I mean, even when they went to the space age shit, I was already like, you know, disinterested in Call of Duty to begin with, but I was still playing with my Xbox friends back then. So that was part of the reason why I was still buying Call of Duty games was to play with them, even though I wasn't exactly thrilled with them, you know, and that's one of the reasons why I had bought Madden longer than I should have was to play with my friends. You know, now that I'm past all that kind of shit, if I'm not buying it for me or my son, it ain't getting bought. So you said World War II was hyped, and you know, World War II actually has some pretty damn good graphics too. The campaign, I only played a couple of minutes of the campaign, so I can't really say whether the campaign was good or bad, but I was already turned off by World War II because by the time that game came out, we already knew that Activision was all about microtransactions, getting a patent for an algorithm that creates mismatches in an attempt to entice people to pay for microtransactions in order to have an even playing field. All that shit turned me off. And even with this new Call of Duty, this poised to come out this year, I'm still apprehensive about it because we know what Activision is about. You know, we know this shit is going to be riddled with microtransactions. So the question is will this beautiful looking game be a pay to win microtransactions? You know, will it be that kind of shit? So going on about about this Call of Duty. So I guess they are saying that this game is going to be coming out on Xbox, PS4, and PC. And I guess to play it on PC, I guess you will have to go through the Blizzard launcher. And I guess they're going that route because they don't want to pay royalties to Steam, probably Epic as well. So you got to go through the Blizzard launcher in order to play this game on PC. And I guess they are saying that it's going to be crossplay on all formats that matter. So I guess it's going to be, so I guess the Nintendo Switch is going to be excluded from this. So now saying that it's going to be crossplay on all formats that matters, the big question is it going to be crossplay between the big three, you know, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, or is it going to be a fork? You know, is it going to be crossplay between PC and Xbox on one end, crossplay between PC and PS4 on the other end? That's the big question right there. But if they go full triangle with this shit and let the big three all play with each other, crossplay, there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to have players are going to have icons, you know, right along with their gamer tag showing what format that they're playing on. You know, they're going to have icons for PS4 players, Xbox players, PC players, and you know what that means. We're about to see what could have happened on Fortnite. The reason why I know that this shit is going to get super toxic if they allow Xbox and PS4 people to play with each other, because we are talking about, as far as first-person shooter games, you're talking about allowing rival communities to play together on the biggest stage as far as first-person shooter goes. When it comes to first-person shooters, Call of Duty is pretty much the standard. As much as I don't like them, like the Call of Duty franchise, they are pretty much standard when it comes to first-person shooters. When you think of first-person shooters, the first thing pop in people's head is Call of Duty. Kids still love Call of Duty. You said when Sony has the market, why would they do that? That's just it. I don't know if Sony is allowing that or not. All they said was that they're allowing crossplay on the formats that matter. That didn't specifically say if you're going to allow all three formats to play together, or if it's going to be a limited crossplay. So I guess my guess is we probably won't know for certain until the game releases. But I'm just saying hypothetically that if they allow Xbox and PlayStation people to play with each other, you're going to see toxicity go to an all-time high. You know, if they allow all three to come in and play, you know, I'm not trying to talk any PC master race shit, but I'm led to believe that they're probably going to be the best players because the mouse and keyboard gives them an advantage. And if they don't lock the frame rates, PC is going to have an advantage with the frame rate as well. So the PC guys might come in there and dominate that shit if they allow crossplay. But the Xbox will not care. All they gonna care about is beating PlayStation people. Said it's only PvE. And by the way, Cantor, what's up? You said Dauntless is crossplay between the 3 platforms, but either way, it's a F2P game, and it's only PVE. Okay, but Call of Duty though, we're talking about a much bigger game with Call of Duty. We're probably talking about the most well-known first-person shooter game in the world, and you're gonna let rival communities play together. It's going to be toxic. You're gonna hear people saying nasty shit about people's mothers. People, you're gonna hear about people gonna be giving each other death threats. I think Twitter is going to be licking its chops if this crossplay goes through, because Twitter, that's going to be the shit talking. That's going to be the place where a lot of the pregame shit goes on. Gamertag VR, what is up, my friend? By the way, Gamertag, next Saturday, are you free to come on board the Lincoln show or live from Wakanda, whichever show I choose to do? Because I assumed you've had more than ample playing time with the Oculus Quest, and I'd love to ask you a lot of questions about the Oculus Quest. What improvements you'd like to see happen with the Oculus Quest? Which headset do you use the most right now? Which one are you getting the most enjoyment from? All that kind of stuff. So if you're available next Saturday, I'd love for you to come on and we can talk a lot about that. So I've had that zeroed in right from the word go that, hey, once he gets time with that headset, I'd like him to come back. So moving on about the crossplay, you're going to see a very toxic atmosphere. It's going to be super nasty. Okay, you said after 6 p.m. BSS, British summertime, I assume. Okay, and with me being 5 hours behind you, that would put me at 1 p.m. That is absolutely perfect. So let's pencil it in for next Saturday. All right, I'm looking forward to it. So I don't know how far this toxicity VR games are all lames. Another troll. Where in the title do you see anywhere about VR? You're just now getting here. I don't know how long you've been. I don't know how long you've been listening. Anyway, same thing. I'm watching you just like I watched the last one. The Cancer. You said even worse than Modern Warfare 2 era. That was already toxic as hell, and it was played only in the same platform. Yeah. You. I won't read that comment, gamer tag, but I will say, as far as you coming on the show, next Saturday works out perfect. That time works for me because that's 1 p.m. Eastern time here, so that works out perfect. Yeah. 6K. I pretty much figured that, but I got my finger on the trigger, so. Wow, God, there was so much I wanted to say about the toxicity that's going to erupt from this crossplay. Here's the thing. Yeah, I remember hearing about that, Fatal Sharad. All right, Akantor, thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it. Sorry that I got sidetracked by the trolls. But yeah, like I was listening to Hard Eight's podcast from yesterday, and he was saying that he can't wait for the crossplay because he knows it's gonna be some shit flying between Xbox and PlayStation. It's gonna be it's gonna be nasty atmosphere. Like I said, shit gonna be getting said about people's mother. Racist shit gonna be getting said. Twitter is gonna be on fire. That's why I said they're gonna be grinning. Twitter's gonna be grinning from ear to ear because look how toxic Twitter is right now. Look how the Xbox lose their mind every time something happens. I mean, look what the hell's going on right now with this Death Stranding shit, which is something I don't understand. I guess the Xbox are losing their mind. But fuck, they already seen 2 trailers from this game and they knew it was coming. And they losing their mind as if Sony pulled some Epic Store shit and stole an exclusive, and paid for something to be an exclusive and stole it from Steam or something. I don't get why they're acting like that. But when this crossplay kicks in on Call of Duty, God, every single day it's going to be some shit. It's going to be some nasty shit getting said. People going to be reporting each other left and right. Accounts are going to be getting blocked left and right. People are going to be reporting each other to Twitter left and right. Hey, Joystick, it's funny that you mentioned that. You said, boy, the N-bombs will be dropped like no other. You ain't bullshitting like that. I'm going to go ahead and put him out there. I'm going to go ahead and put J-Tech out there. He sent me a tweet, and it was some Death Stranding related shit. And I guess he got into it with somebody because J-Tech love fucking with people, especially on Twitter. And it was over some Death Stranding shit. And somebody called him Nigger Tech and said, yeah, Nigger Tech, you're wrong again. When I saw that tweet, the natural reaction was to want to get mad, but I laughed my ass off because I was like, people like that got a racist name for everybody. So it's going to be much, much worse when this crossplay kicks in. The other N-bombs going to get dropped. The racist assholes out there, if I happen to come into a chat and they find out I'm on the PlayStation and I'm black, they're going to talk about how I'm on welfare, how I sold my food stamps to get my PlayStation, all that kind of shit. All kinds of nasty shit going to get said. It's going to be ugly. And Activision is going to make sure that happens because they're going to do what I thought Epic was going to do and put the icon above every player, what console or what format they're playing on. So naturally, Xbox are going to go into lobbies looking for Sony people. And here's what's going to be crazy about this shit. PlayStation people might beat Xbox 20 matches in a row. But that one match that the Xbox win, they're going to jump on Twitter. They're going to let the whole fucking world know about it. They're going to take screenshots. They're going to throw it all on Twitter, everything. It's coming. What's up, Christopher Hart? Myself, the Xbox act like a fucking cult. And that's why I'm looking at this shit with an raised eyebrow. Because if I thought it would go no further than shit talking, then okay, it is what it is. But I'm not so sure that it's going to just stay strictly shit talking. It could go further than that. And here's the thing about it. Phaedrus, what's up? Actually, largest group on food stamps and other support are, of course, all right. I get what you're saying, but you know how racist people always come up with some crazy shit to say, So saying, the food stamps and welfare and, stole some tires and sold them to get your PlayStation, all that kind of shit. That shit's coming. So it doesn't matter what the percentage is of who's on what. 6K, you say, hey, Lakin, the thing they said, you won't know what consoles other are playing from in crossplay. No, see, Activision's going to make sure that's going to happen. Activision's going to make sure they put the logo of what console you're on next to your name so they can ignite that toxic atmosphere. That shit right there is going to keep the communities coming back. That's going to be the perfect situation to create a games as a service, because the bad blood between the two communities, toxic members, are going to keep them coming back to that game to keep trying to beat each other. It's actually a smart move, but it's actually a fucked up move too. Yeah, they don't give a fuck about that 6K. All they gonna give a fuck about is that user base staying in there. Because I'm not gonna lie, doing something like that, that's going to be the perfect scenario for them to create a games as a service. And then with them saying that, moving forward, all maps are going to be free. They're going to do away with the season pass. They do that. That guarantees that both the Sony community and the Xbox community stays invested in this game. That guarantees it. This is going to be the perfect scenario for games as a service. And when other developers sees that this shit works, they're going to follow suit. If Sony does allow crossplay, the only reason why I see them allowing it is because we're at the end of the generation. I don't think they're going to allow it on the PS5, but we'll see. But we're near the end of the generation. It actually, Spartan Guy, what's up? I hate to say it, Spartan Guy. You said Activision want their crown back. They're going to get their crown back with this Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I'm not going to lie. The game looks amazing. It's on a new engine, so I know everybody's going to be curious to see how this game runs. And then, if the crossplay plays out the way that I just mentioned, when you got two toxic communities in there, if they do that, Activision won't even have to add any new maps. The player base is going to stay full just on the sheer situation that the Xbots and ponies are going to be trying to beat each other. It's going to be a never-ending battle. This game, they do that with this Modern Warfare, allow that crossplay. They're going to be able to monetize the shit out of this game 3-4 years from now. Just on the simple fact that these two rival communities having bad blood and not liking each other ain't going to be doing their damnness to try to beat the other. But at the same time, that also could create some more in-house fighting. What? You an Xbox? You a level 56 and you let a level 2 PlayStation dude beat you? What the fuck is wrong with you? We're going to have some shit like that going on too. It's going to be a lot of infighting too. Now, yes, it does have single player Spartan God, but does single player means some modes? Is it going to be a campaign? I hope there's going to be a campaign. I'm taking it for granted. Now, I don't want to take it for granted that single player means campaign, but I hope that means campaign. Also, there will be no zombie mode in there. Of course, Spartan God, the N-word going to be used a lot. Andre 6K, oh yeah, society feeds off sex and violence because it sells well. So the more toxic the industry, the more money they're going to make. 3 things about America, in my opinion, Andre 6K: money first, racism second, drama third. And the latter two, they use that to stir up, to create money. They make money off of that shit. So I don't know. I think that it's gonna be funny to see how much racist shit gets said. What I'm wondering is, I don't think it'll get that far, but I'm wondering if the shit'll go far enough that people will try to dox each other. You know, or will they try to swat each other? I don't think they can. You know, I don't know if they'll be able to do that, but if they do, oh good lord. Well, we got about 10 more minutes before I gotta head out. So with this crossplay, like I said on Call of Duty, you're about to create the most toxic atmosphere that we've ever seen in gaming, and it's about to happen on the biggest stage. This shit is going to be ugly, and Activision is going to cash in on it. I said this console war and allowing the combatants to share the same stage will give this game longevity. This game will last. I think the success of crossplay, campaign, new engine, all those elements combined will put Activision in a situation where they wouldn't have to release another Call of Duty for another 4 or 5 years if they don't want to, especially if they're going to keep pumping maps in there. By pumping new maps in there, you're not giving the player base new content. What you're giving them is new rings for them to fight. You're giving them new boxing rings. When the new map comes out, both sides are going to be talking about how they're going to fuck each other up on the new maps. Yeah, I mean, it's cool that it's going to be flooded with content. I mean, they finally got up off their ass and, you know, use another engine for this game and that kind of stuff. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, right now, my interest in that game is probably a 7. And I can only say that because I just don't know because of how much I love VR. Matter of fact, my love for VR is so deep right now that if you were to ask me right now, y'all don't think I'm smoking crack for saying this. The way I'm feeling right now, I'm not even 100% sure that I'm going to buy Death Stranding. You know, last year about this time, everybody assumed that it was a given that Days Gone, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, and The Last of Us were all going to launch in 2019. And out of those 4 games, Death Stranding was my least anticipated game, and it still is. In order, The Last of Us 2 was my most anticipated game, the one I was the most excited for, with Ghost of Tsushima coming a close second, Days Gone third, and Death Stranding at the bottom of that game. And I'm interested in Death Stranding. I just don't know. I just don't know if I'm going to buy it because I don't think, as of right now, the way I'm feeling right now, I don't think I would finish it. It would be another backlog game, just like Days Gone and Spider-Man. Those are 2 games that I haven't even scratched the surface of those games, and I don't know when I'm going to get to them, if I get to them. Ice Queen Gaming, you know, I do think Death Stranding is a day one game. It's just with me because I love VR so much that I just don't know if I could pull myself away from VR long enough to play the game. You know, I will play The Last of Us 2, and I will play the Ghost of Tsushima. You know, and that's the other thing. I'm not very good at finishing games. So like right now, I'm trying to stay away from a lot of other shit until I finish Blood and Truth. Uh, so let's put it this way, Andre 6K. Um, when I first started my YouTube channel up, those 4 games that we talking about right now, I kind of would have been mad at Sony because I would have been like, I want to play them now. I don't want to wait 2-3 years to play them. But now, you know, I can't even guarantee that I'll buy Death Stranding. I just don't know if I will. I might, you know, I might wait until it goes on sale. Or I might not even buy it. Truth be told, this might be the one game where I might go out of my way to watch streams. I think this game is going to do well because I think it's one of those games that's going to challenge the mind. And I think, like, I didn't watch that trailer, so I don't, you know, I don't know how much was revealed about that trailer. But leading up to that trailer, we knew nothing about this game, but yet people were still interested in it because they were trying to figure out what the game was about because it picks your brain. Everybody had their theory about what the game is about, what this means, what that means. You know, even me, even though I'm not terribly interested in the game, the one theory that I had came up with in that game is these invisible like creatures just walking around where you can only see their footprints. I think what I figured out about them is that they zero in on the carbon dioxide that humans breathe out. Because there was that one scene where I think Norma Reedus was going to say something, and that girl covered his mouth, and from there he kept his mouth covered whenever he saw footprints. So I'm led to believe that humans probably can't see these creatures except through their footprints that they leave in the ground, and I'm led to believe that these creatures probably cannot see human beings, but they can zero in on them from the carbon dioxide that they breathe out. The same way the Predator was zeroing in on Arnold and his crew from the heat signatures. Yeah, that's just it. 106K. I'm not even trying to read a bunch of articles. I mean, hell, you know, we got Thrash for that because he's come up with a lot of theories, a lot of interesting theories on that game. So, truth be told, if I feel like I want to know what this game is about, you know, which I have been watching Thrash's videos, but you know, if I need a refresher, I'll go back and watch his videos. Going to pre-order Death Stranding as soon as I get back home. All right, Blue, that's cool. I think it's going to be an amazing game. You know, it's just like I said. You know, it's just I just don't think the game could peel me off of VR long enough to finish it. I would buy the game, I would start it, and then it would end up being a backlog game. Especially if I fuck around and start watching streams. You know, I would just sit there and let it play out like a movie. I mean, that's kind of what happened to me with Days Gone. Oh, looking forward to more Lone Echo 2 than Death Stranding, I'm assuming. Oh, absolutely. You said Christopher, yeah, VR is where my interests are at now too. I mean, said no bus, Lincoln, just play it. Like I said, we'll see. You know, I'll cross that bridge when we get there. We'll see how I feel when the game's about to release. Maybe I'll have that last minute urge to buy it. We'll see. Said flat screen games get my interest, and then I peel off into VR. Exactly. I can't say it enough. Fatal Sharad, what is your link and check your time? Yes, 4:00 on the button. So I'm about to get out of here in about 5 or 10 minutes. Fatal Sharad, what's your situation on the Oculus? I mean, so I think it's a foregone conclusion that you're going to join the VR community. What's the timetable on you getting an Oculus? Well, I'm picking my son up at home, joystick, so it's not a situation where, if I'm a couple of minutes late, it won't be an issue. But yeah, I do got to get out of here pretty soon. Damn, you said Trover Saves the Universe just got an 87 on IGN? Damn. Yeah, Players United. I live in VR, and I think Anthony of VR 365 said it best. He said he wants to live in the game. He wants to breathe the game. And then I guess I can throw this little bit of tidbit news out there that you guys probably already know about. But I'll talk because there's a shitload of VR news to talk about, and I'll talk about those tomorrow on Live from Wakanda. But according to Polish Paul, because I've seen his video, the developers of Alvo, that was one of the first-person shooter games that I was highly looking forward to. And I thought that was going to be the second game that was going to release on the PlayStation VR because it was a game that was advertised. Sony showed it at their E3. And the game was supposed to come out in 2018. It didn't happen. It was supposed to come out this year. Investors pulled out of the game, so the game was in limbo. But now they got new investors. So they're going to follow through with the game, and it's going to release this year. I would like to think that the game is still going to be crossplay between PSVR, Oculus, and Vive, which would be cool because I think we need another pure first-person shooter game on there besides Firewall. And what else? I think Sniper Elite is still coming this year. And I'm curious to see how this is going to work because if you play any games on the PlayStation VR where you're using a sniper rifle, when you look through the scope, it's not magnified because it can't do it. Or nobody's figured out how to do that. The scopes work on PC. You look through that scope and you see that crosshair, and whatever you're looking at is magnified. When I try to use a sniper rifle on Bravo Team, there was just a still picture inside the scope. Nothing was moving. If you go back to Farpoint, the sniper rifle that was on there, not magnified, is just a reticle. So whatever you're shooting at is not magnified to bring them closer in view. You just got that reticle right there. We even got that on Blood and Truth. Sniper rifles, the scope does not magnify. You just look straight through there and see a reticle. The scope does not magnify. So with Sniper Elite, figuring out how to make this shit work, if I had more time, I would show these trailers. I think there's also another VR game coming to PC called Phantom Ops, and I guess it has I guess you're like paddling down a stream in a kayak, but I guess it's got like Splinter Cell elements to it, where you stealth. You're trying to take these guards out quietly. Well, Atomic Wasteland, I'm not surprised that Honor and Duty got the scopes right because look at the rest of the game. The characters on those games look like, Roblox, that look like Lego characters. I'm talking about games with photorealism, with realistic characters. Games like that, the scopes don't work on sniper rifles. That perfect sniper. Look at that shit. You know, the first time I saw it, I thought it was another Minecraft game. So I think with Sniper Elite, if they can make that scope work, I think they're going to have to sacrifice something else for it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be a point and click method of travel. So, but if this game, if the scope works, like, you know, tomorrow when I do live from Wakanda, I'll show, you know, I'll try to find the trailer to that and show you guys the trailer if you haven't already seen it. If they can make that scope work on Sniper Elite and you still have full locomotion, full freedom to move, 360-degree movement, shit. Fatal Charade, I wouldn't mind seeing some of these old Sega arcade games come to VR like House of the Dead and Vampire Night. I wouldn't doubt, you know, it obviously can't be done because with those super old graphics, you know, it'd be easy. I think it'd be easy for them to do that shit in VR unless they try to build the game from the ground up and redo it. But if they keep it in this platform mode, it's 2D platform mode, and I think it'd be pretty easy for them to do it in VR. Oh, by the way, Fatal Charade, before I get on out of here, you didn't answer my question on the timetable for you to officially join the VR community. I mean, I consider you part of the community now, but you're not officially part of the community until you take care of that Oculus situation. So just what's the timetable on that? You said what's next? Seeing cartoons in VR? You know what? I wouldn't be surprised, EJ Johnson, if some of that is already out there, because there's an app called Next VR where you can watch NBA games in VR. And they have packages that you can pay for. I think you can pay for single games, or you could buy like a 3-game package, you know, or you could even pay for like a 10-game package or something like that to be able to watch NBA games in VR. I have watched, I've used this Next VR app, and I've watched highlights from NFL games in VR, hockey games in VR, where they take you back, where they kind of take you into the hallway leading out to the field or whatever. So it's actually pretty cool. Next VR is also on Steam as well. I think it's also at the Oculus store as well. I think it's a free app everywhere. So it's pretty cool to see some of these, real life moments in VR. Yeah, you're sitting at courtside. You also get the over the basket view too. Sometimes those cameras are so zoomed in that it's almost like you're standing at the free throw line, and you almost feel like, damn, I better get out of the way, or somebody gonna be screaming at me to move. But I think that Next VR is a cool app. Some of the some of the clips are blurry, but some of them are clear. Fatal Sharad, you said, I'm not sure. I want to get a new 1440p monitor first. I'm looking at this Acer Predator monitor that's 144 hertz and has 1 millisecond response time. Oh, damn. 1 millisecond. Damn, that's instantaneous. So what do we got here? Mr. 4K Upscaler is live. Okay, Gamertag VR, he's got a Oculus Quest review 10 days after launch. Definitely want to check that out. I will listen to that on my way to picking up my son. What else we got? PlayStation Plus is going to increase. I don't know by how much, but it's going to increase in Europe. So I can't say that I'm surprised. Xbox did it not too long ago, raised the price of Xbox Live over in Europe. So I'm not surprised that Sony followed suit. Yeah, Atomic Wasteland. I was just telling everybody that I'm wondering how they got the scope to work on Sniper Elite. You say right there, speaking of Sniper Elite, Polish Paul just uploaded some gameplay of the sniper rifle and it looked good. It did look good. I'm wondering how they got the sniper, how they got the scope to work, because there's only a couple of games where scopes work. You know, Honor and Duty being one of them, and The Perfect Sniper being another one. But those are games with Lego type graphics. So Sniper Elite would be the first photorealistic game that I would see where the scope actually works. So I'm very curious about this. Yes, Xbox making more money on services prompt Sony to raise the money to compete. Compete? How? They dominate in Europe. Sony's biggest chunk of sales comes from Europe. But it'll happen here too. Sony just won't do it first. If Microsoft raises Xbox Live at some point, um you almost want to hit the dislike button, or almost want to hit the block button. Stop it, Red Ranger. You're the only person that throws up at the sound of Sony, but keep coming in here for more punishment when you know most of the crowd in here, you know most of the people in here is either Sony or VR or both. Anyway, well, yeah, if Microsoft raises Xbox Live, Sony will probably eventually do it if they do it here. But I think they won't do it first. You know, even if they are the market leader, I still believe that Sony is being careful how they move here in America. True, but I think the PlayStation problem is weak hardware. Also, light tracking is pain. Also, every PS game with good graphics tend to maybe have co-op play if you're lucky. Yeah, that is a huge problem when it comes to PlayStation VR games. That there's not very many. You're forgiven, OG. There's not a lot of multiplayer games on the PlayStation VR format, unfortunately, and that's one of the reasons why I love gaming on the PC so much as far as VR goes, because over on Steam, there's a trillion multiplayer games there. Sometimes you might have a case where it's too many games and not enough people to play them. Because I will say some of these VR games, this multiplayer, some of them are a ghost town. But I think games like Pavlov, Onward, Zero Caliber, those first-person shooter games, Contractors, all those games are hugely popular. So there's always somebody to play with those games. And not only that, those games are crossplay as well. So you can play with people on Vive or any other headset that they might be using. All right, Red Ranger. All right. All right. All right. You love PS4? the frame rate that Sony demands can be a pain for devs to overcome. Yeah, and I think Sony also don't play that shit about early access either. Because I will admit that about Steam, there's a ton of VR games over there that's in early access. So, all right, then I'm gonna have to get ready to get on out of here because if I wait any longer, I'm gonna have to put the pedal to the metal to get there within a reasonable time because I got about a 45-minute drive ahead of me. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. Give it a like, all that good stuff. Comment, share. I will be back. As far as doing a stream tonight, if I do it, it's likely to happen during the graveyard shift. It's probably gonna happen in the middle of the night after my son goes to bed because I already know when we get back, he is going to jump on that Oculus and he's going to be playing Five Nights at Freddy's in VR. I may stream that though. And I might put the camera on my son so you can see how he reacts to the jump scares. So I very well could do that. So keep your eyes open for that if I do that. But if I don't, again, I probably won't do a stream until the middle of the night, until after he goes to bed. But that's gonna do it for me. I appreciate everybody checking in. Give it a like, all that good stuff, and we'll see you soon. Everybody have a good day, and we'll catch you later.